told you, we come with more and more content as quickly as we possibly can. We were gone for a while. We're back again. Hopefully, you got to see last week's content. Once again, this is two coaches, one conversation. This is Coach Will. I'm Coach Sheldon, and we're back again with another great topic. Now, before we do anything, please push the like button, hit your subscribe. Please share the content because it gets out to everyone, and we'll be able to help any and everyone that we possibly can. So leave your questions, your comments, hit us up on email. We're not shy. We're going to answer everything to the best of our ability.
Definitely not shy.
And we ain't got soft skin. So if you want to say something, hey, we take criticism to the highest because you know what? We're coaches and we want to get better each time. So thank you guys for that. Everyone out there support and subscribe to the channel. Now, getting down to it. Now, this is my week because I actually hit this guy up and said, hey, I have a topic for the subject. And he was like, oh, okay. Well, maybe I need to be the one holding the pen and pad this time. I was like, well, we'll go through it. We'll see what's through. So, as you guys know, we kind of talked about it last week with our last video, how we were beginning to revamp our program for our girls in the Central Sector area. And we began doing training programs as well, like we normally did in the past in our off season. We began 2 Sundays ago. It's been quite a success. We had a lot of kids come out, really enjoy what we're doing. Parents are flocking to it. So anyone who's actually had a chance to take advantage of it, we thank you. But with that being said, we want to talk about what is the right trainer for your child. We realize that there is a vast amount of people out there who either are good at what they do or claim to be good at what they do, and these kids somehow are not getting the results that we want to put in. So we kind of came up with 5 things that we want to kind of tackle that go along with finding the right trainer. 5 keys. We'll run them down. Number 5, starting from the bottom up, I think it's going to be communication. Okay, communication is key with not only understanding what your player needs when they come into your gym, but how to talk to them when they're there. You're not yelling, you're not overbearing, and also talking with parents. So you're a great communicator, great gift for gab. Talk to anybody, get the most out of any conversation within 2 minutes. I'm very fond of that. So talk about how key communication is when finding that personal trainer.
Communication is key because it's like, I can come there and tell you, I can do this skill, I can do that skill, I can teach your kid how to do this, but your kid isn't on that level.
Right.
So I need to get whereas a trainer, you need to get the information on what level realistically this kid is on. Some kids are middle school legends, some kids are rec ball legends, and they go to a trainer who's a rec ball legend themselves.
Right.
But it doesn't carry over into the real game of basketball.
Right.
Doesn't carry over to the middle school game, doesn't carry over to the high school game. So if I'm trying to teach you how to do three combo move and you can barely dribble, right, and you have no left hand at all, how am I going to teach you a 3 combo move?
Right.
So I don't have the proper evaluation.
Exactly. So yeah, communication is key. If we're not speaking, then how do I even know what you know? You know, if you put a kid in a situation with someone who's very advanced and this kid doesn't know, how do you communicate the understanding of what their skill level is? So we got to be great communicators. We got to be able to talk. We got to be able to put everything into motion with our words. So communication is key. Involvement. That word goes a long way, and I say it because it's a 2-way street when it comes to coaching and our youth athletes. One, parent involvement. How involved are the parents as far as knowing their kid's level, knowing what this person is about, or they're going off hearsay? And 2, how involved is the coach going to be on a week-to-week or day-to-day or month-to-month basis when they're training their kids? So how do you deal with involvement with?
Well, the involvement, you hit a key element there, right? Because you talked about the parents' involvement in what they're seeing. There are some parents who, I'm just going to call it what it is, they're delusional. They think their kid is the whole team,
right,
the star of the team, and their kid is hot garbage at best. Mm-hmm. And that's at best. With the training portion, in the communication piece and involvement, if I say I can train your kid, and your kid's playing AAU ball, your kid's playing school ball, as a trainer, I need to be at the games. I need to, and if I can get access to the practices, that's even better.
Yeah.
But if I can't, at the least, I need to be at the game. Because you tell me your kid playing 5-10 minutes a game, I need to see that 5 or 10 minutes. If your kid's playing 30 seconds a game, I need to see that 30 seconds.
Right.
So I can assess. It could be the kid is just lacking confidence.
Right.
Or they're too arrogant. And it's like, okay, you talk a good game, but you can't play a lick. Or you don't have an understanding of the game.
Right. So yeah, involvement is the key. It's a full circle. So everyone that's invested in what they're doing have to be on the same page, because if I have a plan for you and parents have a plan for you and kids have a plan, then
say that part one more time.
If I have a plan for you, parents have a plan for you, and then the athlete has a plan for themselves, we're all going different directions, and there's going to be no development, which we're going to get into development later on. Energy. I love energy. I'm going to match those kids' energy when they come in, because energy equals engagement. If I'm engaged with what I'm doing, then I'm liking what I'm doing. I'm keeping the focus. I'm wanting to know what's next, because I'm so invested in what you're telling me right now. And not only are you engaged, you can feel yourself building confidence over there. So I know you're very engaged with your athletes that come into the gym, and you keep that energy going. You're always the same. So give me your take on your engagement and how you build it.
How I build it is no time off. Like when I watch you train, it's like, okay, if the kid's waiting to work on their shooting, you got him dribbling, you got him doing something that's going to lead to the next thing. And then for me, I keep him busy because I'm questioning the basketball IQ. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, why are you doing this move? Well, because you said, are those cones or are those defenders?
Right.
Okay, well, how are you going to pick your spot? Like you say, if the kid is engaged and it's a question answer situation, that the energy is going to stay up.
Right.
And with the energy staying up, it's like, man, time's up already.
Right.
Versus everybody standing single file line, no talking, don't dribble the ball.
Right.
Pay attention. Did you not see how the person in front of you went?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
That kills a kid's motivation to want to come to training. Mm-hmm. And it should kill the parents' motivation to come to training, because you're paying for the training.
Exactly.
So if little Johnny, little Susie come week 1 and by week 4 they still the same, you need to find a new trainer.
Yeah. If they ain't sweating, if they ain't excited to come back, if they ain't high-fiving their trainer after practice, if the trainer's not high-fiving the kid, if the kid's not encouraged, if there's no energy there, it's time to move gyms. It's time to
find a new sport, something.
Yeah, do something different. The fourth one is going to be the big key, outside of the number one one. It's development. Development is key. When you develop something, that means that you put time into it. You see that on a week-to-week basis, everything is moving up to the right. As you would say in the corporate world, when you see numbers move, they move up to the right. That means that you're progressing and everything is positive. If you see things start moving down to the left, that means that it's time to reevaluate what's going on, because you're not making any moves.
You hit peak season at the wrong time.
Right. So yes, development is key, and we lack that here, I think, in our area.
Yes.
Just a sponge on what we've seen over the years.
And the reason that, to be honest with you, I think development is lacking in Central Texas. It's too many wannabe trainers. It's too many wannabe coaches. And I'm not saying I'm the greatest, but I ain't the worst. And what I mean by that is, the coaches are competing against each other in the wrong sense. Because then it becomes about ego. Well, I train such and such, and I train such and such, which will go into a topic later.
Right.
But to me, if it's all about you as the individual, I've had kids come to me, I can't train them.
Right.
The reason I can't train them is because their mindset is somewhere else.
Right.
Their mindset is on, well, I have to get better, which is a good mindset. Right. But they're willing to step on anybody to get better. And what I mean by step on anybody to get better, they can find a kid who's not as developed as they are.
Right.
And they're like, oh, well, you suck. where you're suck for having to tell them they suck. There's a right way and a wrong way to do it. And that's part of development too.
Okay. Now, the biggest key to all this is know-how. And when I say know-how, I tell the girls this all the time. You got to know how, which is meaning, do you understand what's going on in this situation? So that equates to what we call basketball IQ. So if the player that's coming to your program, if they're looking for development, they're looking for energy and involvement and communication, they have to get an understanding of why they're doing what they're doing when you're showing them. So you have to put that basketball IQ and tailor it to situational things that's in the game that's going to actually help them in their progression to be a better player. So how big is basketball IQ in terms of training?
Huge. I mean, absolutely huge. Because anybody can develop and practice about 3,000. I can tell you what to do, you can go do it, but do you know how to apply it? Do you know how to use the court? Do you know how to use your teammates? That's the whole point of training. I'm not going to teach you plays and you don't have a basketball IQ. Because if you don't have basketball IQ, you don't know which play to call, you don't know how to set your teammates up. You about to be a turnover machine.
Right.
So it's huge. And then if you have the nerve to say I want to play at the next level with no basketball IQ, your trainer and your coaches fail somewhere.
Right.
So
in the past, this is how we've kind of done it. I'm a big proponent of film. I love watching film. Film tells the true story of the entire game. And like you said earlier, whether it's 30 seconds, 10 minutes, you paint the whole game, there's going to be some intricacy that you can find within that game to actually help that player. And you can break it down from the smallest molecule and bring it up to the biggest atom. And then you have this big old explosion of development. So what we've done in the past, we'll go to games. We'll take notes. We will then have that player come out to one of our practices. Don't necessarily, we want them to come out and practice, but we want them to come out and actually watch so they can be comfortable. And then once they're ready to take on that task, then we're able to then tailor a program to them in order to get them better. So talk about the prep work that goes in to building that program for that player.
Man, like really, to be honest with you, it don't stop. Like I look at everything from footwork to confidence, mainly confidence. And a lot of kids lack confidence because they really don't know what's going on. They got by on skill, or they got by on athleticism. Mm-hmm. So you asked a loaded question because I'm telling you, like I could break this thing all the way down.
It was the Cliff Notes version.
The Cliff Notes version is even longer than the regular notes in this case. But it's a lot that goes into the prep. I mean, like from day one that you meet that kid to the time they come to your training session, whether it be 1 hour or whether it be 45 minutes, nothing over 1 hour. Yeah. That's another part of the topic. But it's a ton that goes into it. Mm-hmm. I know you're talking about energy, but it's like, man, like
yeah. I mean, it's a ton that goes into it. We find kids that maybe have a deficit with dribbling. They don't even know why they're dribbling, or we have a deficit with kids that don't understand where to shoot on the floor, where the spots, or even the mechanics of it. There's so much that goes into it, and
that's not a shot.
And a lot of these guys, they want credit for players that are already ready-made and skilled, and they try to feel like they enhance something. But the beauty of it is starting from ground zero, and that leads into my next question: finding the right trainer. You've had some that helped your daughter personally that you've recommended in the past. With Martinez down in Austin, Texas, there, which has done a phenomenal job with a lot of kids in the area. We've had some in the Killeen area, but they just weren't committed to it. Yeah, they just weren't committed to it, and kids lost interest. So how do we spot that bad trainer? What are some of the things that 3 red flags that you know right off the bat?
Red flag number 1, when they come in with pricing. The pricing is everything. Because if this is how you make your living, I'm not knocking it. Present your business how you present your business. Second thing is they're name dropping other players. Why would you name drop another player in comparison to the player you're trying to train? I know coaches that do that. Such and such played for me, such and such played for me. That's cool, they played for you. But how did you develop that kid?
Right.
And the third thing is, if they promise you one thing, and then their actions showing another thing, like if I'm a shooting coach, I'm gonna tell you I'm a shooting coach. Well, what makes you a shooting coach?
Right.
If I'm an all-around coach, I'm gonna tell you I'm an all-around coach. But you have to listen to what they're saying. Like what plan are they laying out for your kid?
Right.
When you go there, that's basically
right.
Those are 3 red flags. Like I can come to you and say, hey, I want to train your daughter. Okay, what my daughter need training with? Well, her defense is, needs some enhancing.
Right.
Okay, what's wrong with her defense? She got 3 steals. Yeah, but she picked up 4 fouls on them 3 steals.
Right.
I should be able to tell you why I want to train your kid. This is free for y'all. Next time we're gonna charge, okay?
Right. and that goes into finding the right fit. And if one, like you said, if I can find the things that you already do great, and I can make that better, then that's one. If I can take something that you don't do well, and by the end of your training session that's going into your season, and you can put that to use, that's 2. Now we've developed something. And 3, simple fact that you got people coming back over and over again, and the turnover ratio isn't bad, and kids are just turning in and out. That shows that you have the right fit there, and they have a good program going on. So with that being said, yes. So finding the right fit is going to be the best thing for not only the parent, the trainer too, because sometimes there's difficult people that you can't work with.
Right, and also finding the right fit, parents, you can't be willing to be sold on the shiny new dime.
Right.
And you got an old crusty dollar over here. Mm-hmm. The shiny new dime, it's fresh out the mint.
Right.
And that's where a lot of parents get lost, and then they become skeptical of trainers as well, because they come in with, hey, I can do this, and this. And oh yeah, I'm a Nike trainer.
Cool.
Okay. How does that help me?
Okay.
So a lot of times parents are willing to be sold.
Right.
On items and trainers and teams, but that's a whole nother topic.
Right.
But if it's this one, when we talk about finding the right fit.
Not to toot the horn of the program and how well it's done over the last 15, 16 years, but for the people in the back that don't know, how many girls have come through the program and went to college?
80, 90, 100, somewhere in there.
Now,
went through the program.
Yeah. So
not including the ones outside the program.
It would be. I would say it'd be very facetious to say, hey, you know what? All those kids came to the program. I did that. Everything they did.
So what you saying, Coach? I ain't do that.
Well, you did, but at the same time,
I wasn't the only coach.
Right.
Oh,
yeah,
that makes sense.
Right. So whenever you're going through and you're developing a player, you're gonna leave a stamp on them, which you should. Whether it's good or bad, it's gonna happen. Okay. When they have success, we have to step away from saying we were the reason why it happened.
Correct.
Okay. We have to project that they're gonna do what they're gonna do because they are them and they work. That the kids are the ones putting in the work. If that makes sense.
Putting in the work, putting in the hours, making the sacrifices,
right.
Going to class, doing what they have to do in the classroom, and whatever other events going on in their lives.
Right. Because if the kids don't show up, you don't have a training program.
Exactly.
So the catalyst is the kids have to be there. You have to show them a way to get better, and they have to continue to come back. So talk about people taking credit and making it their own, just to I would say profit off of these kids' back.
There's a lot of peacocking going on around here.
Mm-hmm.
Parents, you should be, unless you're not developed emotionally and mentally and validate yourself, you should be leery of people saying, I can do this, I can do this, I can do that. I did this, I did this, I did that. And the reason being is they're going to turn around and use your kid to make money off your kid's name. And they didn't do all that. parents, you have a large part to do, whether you believe in it, whether you're active or not active in your kid life, you have a large part to do with that as well. Be leery of that because they want something back in return.
Right.
And it's not going to benefit you in the long run. And coaches that do that, that means they can't stand on their own merit. And they like, well, I trained that kid. I helped that kid. No, you put a kid in position to be seen and you push them. We all push them. But you didn't get that kid there. Yes, you picked up the phone. Yes, you called. You called the coaches in some cases. In some cases, the coaches just found the kid.
Right.
You know? Or like right now, there's a parent here who's very vocal about her kid's progression. Like her son, not everybody can go talk to her son.
Right.
And she spotted this from a young age. Now she will call me and ask me for advice. Hey, what should you do with this? What should you do with this? Hey, these are the lesser of two evils. Which one should I pick?
Right.
That's what coaches should be contributing to the kids and to the families. Not saying, and I stay behind the scenes. I leave it up to them if they're going to acknowledge me. Just like Harker Heights had a signing, and they was like, "Hey, if you were AAU coach and you ever had anything to do with it, stand up." I didn't stand up. Now the players were like, "Coach, stand up." I'm like, "No, this is your moment."
Right.
Because it has nothing to do with me.
Right.
It has everything to do with you reaching your goals. You know.
And that's how it should be. If we need self-validation from kids, then we're in the wrong business. So,
right.
Now, there's always the why behind the what and what we do. So if your child leaves their training session and you ask them in that back seat, "Well, what did you learn today?" "I don't know. I did some dribbling. I went around a couple cones, did a layup." So if they can't expound on what they've learned or give them in their best mind of how things work, what should they do?
You should question if they still want to play. What they're learning, and why did you just waste an hour of your life or 2 hours of your life? If you're in the back seat, if you ask your kid, "What you learned today?" "Oh man, I learned how to attack, and I learned what attacking angles were and passing lanes were." I'm satisfied.
Right.
But we did same old. We did some shooting drills. We did this. Well, how do you use the shooting drill? Some parents don't know to ask that.
Right.
It's like, okay, so when do you use the shooting drill? I don't know. I just know the shot went in.
Right.
Wrong answer.
So should we fault the trainer too?
We should, if they're not asking. Because like us, I set aside at least 5 minutes. Hey, what did you learn today? How can you use that?
Right.
And sometimes they'd be like, "Show me." So if those questions aren't being asked and the kid can't answer a question, then you're wasting your money.
Okay. Do you feel? I feel we should teach something new every time, even though it may be old for me because I have so many things in the bag. But it should be new to that individual. But sometimes they can get lost in actually building up from the week before and putting those things back in to let them know, hey, we use this, so don't put this away. We still want you to use that, but I want you to add this so that way you have an entire bag.
But as trainers, what do we tell them? Between Sunday and Sunday, you take 5-10 minutes away from your Instagram, 20 minutes from your group chat, and go work on it.
Right.
And then you visualize how you're going to use this in the game.
Right.
And when they show up on Sunday, like you say, you stacking skills, right? So, okay, show me this. Okay, now we're going to move into this.
Right.
You should see that in your training. Martinez does a great job of doing it. You know, and it's repetition, but you're only coming to us an hour.
Right.
So, and also we should be reinforcing what the school coach is saying if they're saying the right thing.
Right. And that goes to show also into the next thing. If you have a trainer that's teaching you something that you can only do with them, then you're missing out because you can't take that home and work on it. You can only work with them. So are you actually getting better by working with this person?
No, you're making cool training videos. What are you talking about? Like, look, use this gadget here. Use that gadget there. So you're not getting better if you can't take it home. Or you can't visualize what the gadgets are intended for.
Gotcha. lastly, and we kind of round this out. There's a lot of resources that you can use. Social media is so vast. YouTube, which what we're using this platform for, is so vast. There's a lot of great things out there that actually teach the game of basketball correctly, that you can actually use on your own and apply to your game. There's a lot of kids that come in and we can see the talent, but when it comes down to actually inputting it into a game situation, that's where they're lacking. And we've come to find out that a lot of kids don't even watch basketball.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, yeah, with them not watching basketball, it kind of makes you wonder why they play.
Right.
If they're not watching basketball, which is fine. Are you playing because you love to compete, or is there something in you that drives you? If there's nothing in you that drives you, why are you playing? Now, if you come back and say my parents are making me play, I'm going to tell you at the end of the month,
Right.
don't sign up for next month.
Right.
Because if your parents are making you play, then you don't really have a passion for this, which means it's going to flow into other things in your life, because your parents should say you should be this, and this. Parents are not against you putting your kids into sports when they're younger, but by the time they're 7th, 8th grade, they should know whether they want to play this sport or not.
Right. So to kind of summarize everything,
sum it up.
Finding a trainer is can be a tough thing, or it can be an easy thing. It's how you make it. Do your research. With everything, do your research. Just don't jump into the next person because this person's over here training with this person and you think they look great, and so your kid goes there and they're not getting the same attention. They're not getting the same development.
They're not getting the same passion from their trainer, because the trainer's like, okay, it's another paycheck to add to this paycheck.
Right.
And then stop comparing your kids.
Yeah.
Like, your kid is not this kid. And the reason I had the aha moment, because we forgot the most important thing. Sometimes you don't need a trainer.
Yeah.
Stop thinking that you need a trainer. Put your kid outside. Take him to the rec center. Take him to the park. You go to the park. If you don't know, we just said, YouTube is a great source. You may not understand everything, but guess what? Somebody in your circle understands how. Also, you forgot something else.
Oh.
Not all players are great trainers. That means they could have been a great high school player, great college player, but they can't relate because they just naturally know how to do things. They naturally pick up on how to read the court. They naturally watch basketball, so they have a natural understanding of the game. But when you're looking for trainers and you comparing your kid, like, why don't you be like such and such? And trainers do the same thing. Hey, why don't you be like such? If your trainer tells your kid to be like such and such, that's in their training program, immediately go find you another trainer. Right. Because they're gonna break your kid down in the wrong way.
And they're not investing in your time to actually tailor your development to what you need. They're tailoring it to what their program says, and that doesn't create individuality as far as getting better. That's just looping them in and putting them in the back and collecting the check. So buyer beware, and know your worth and understand what value your time is to your development of the game. I know from, and we'll close in a minute, but I know from, when I was young, I didn't know anything about a trainer. The only thing I knew was watching the game on Sunday and then going outside trying to replicate everything I saw on TV.
And for us, it was the old man with the Jerry curl that smelled like a liquor store that could still play with the long cigarette hanging out of his mouth. The kids don't have that now.
No.
Everybody want to be air conditioned. Well, the country kids do. The country kids still go outside and play. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
So when you're going through and you're evaluating, remember these 5 key things. It's going to be the energy of the individual that's helping you, how involved they are, their communication, how they plan to develop you, not everyone else, you, and lastly, their basketball IQ is going to round out everything. So hopefully we were able to communicate some things that will be able to help some other people. we stepped on any toes, if we made any mistakes, let us know. Like I said, we got thick skin, so we're not afraid.
I don't really care about stepping on your toes.
Okay, all right.
I don't.
This guy never cares. I'm politically correct, so but that's why we're yin yang. That's why we mesh well together. So, but once again, guys, thank you for your time. This is another Two Coaches, One Conversation with Coach Will and Coach Sheldon, and we appreciate the love, and we out.